Good evening, all of our amazing guests. It is super nice to be with you here virtually in this Zoom space. Just want to welcome you all officially to our webinar tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about student life at Pace and how to find connections and groups and experiences that will better your time at Pace University as a student. But I want to just formally welcome you, but also introduce myself, kind of going through some information with you tonight, but also moderating and helping introduce some of our amazing distinguished students that we're going to feature tonight. I am Sean Livingston. I use he, him, his preferred pronouns. And I've been with Pace University as an employee for close to 15 years as the interim director for our Center for Student Development and Campus Activities. And we're one of the main offices that works independently, codependently with other areas on campus to really help students find opportunities within their free time while they're on campus or working and learning with us remotely to really fulfill their experience and help set them up for a better future. So we have prepared a quick slide deck just to go through some high-level things before we hear from the students. And I know my good friend and colleague here, Brittany, is going to help me walk through those. So Brittany, if you want to advance to the next two slides, that's great. I want to just give you an idea about what our office is all about. You guys can read this mission statement here, but really at the end of the day, our office looks to help students connect with other students. The topic of this webinar tonight was all about finding your group at the Pleasantville campus. And those groups show up in a ton of different ways. Our office facilitates a series of different opportunities, which I'll walk through with you tonight, but we really want students in small groups to work together to develop those important transferable life skills that employers and graduate schools are looking for. And we do that pretty successfully here at Pace University on the Pleasantville campus. And I will also highlight a big part of that has to do with the number of dedicated faculty and staff members that we have working within those small groups. So this is really about relationship building. It's about trying new and different experiences. It's about exploring things that either you're passionate about or that you always thought were cool, but you never tried before. But really finding something eventually that you can invest in. You know, I think there's a huge difference between, you know, kind of tipping your toes in the water when you go to the beach or the pool versus, you know, our friends that just kind of strip everything off and run in full steam ahead. You know, we don't want you to do that right away. We want you to kind of tip around and feel some different experiences. And then once you find something that really sticks, that will help you move your life forward, will help you towards your plan to finish in 4 years and go on to your next adventure, then that's the thing that we want you to really engage and dive all into. So that's just kind of an overview of the mindset behind what we're going to share with you tonight. And I'm going to go through some different ways that shows up. First and foremost, our office represents and recognizes all student organization and helps them plan and execute a variety of different types of programs. In fact, I'm proud to say that a good 80 to 85% of our campus-wide programming comes directly from students who work together within their groups. They plan, they organize, they budget. They work with professionals like myself and some upper class students to, you know, navigate the PACE dynamics, but they put those programs on, you know, by themselves, but for the general community to come out to socialize, to connect, and really to better the campus environment and create that vibrancy that we all hope our campus that we go to has. And so you can see some stats here on a typical year. And I say that with a smile because we are in an atypical year right now, although we still have lots going on our campus this semester, both virtually and in person. But in a typical year, we have over 1,400 programs. A lot of those are done on the weekends. We like to program on the weekends because it's students' most available downtime. Traditionally, we have a fully run student programming board. Some of you might have come from or are coming from high schools from across the country where you're involved with a student council or homecoming planning committee. A lot of our students on our programming board have had experiences like that. We have over 70 recognized groups on our campus, which is a pretty incredible number. It represents more than 900 involved students in and across those groups. All of those groups are advised by a faculty or staff member, and you can see the number there, over 50 plus are helping us to create this vibrant campus. And the last thing I'll say is this, I never really understood this when I went to school, but I just kind of figured that groups that I could join had been on the campus forever. And that may be true for some of the staple organizations, and you'll hear from the students about some of those tonight, but we also in our office help, create brand new groups. I always make the joke, and I'm still waiting for someone to do it, but if you have an interest in chess or knitting, as an example, we're looking for folks that want to start a group. It's you and 5 friends and a couple pieces of paperwork, and we help you guys do that. So it's pretty cool. Another way to engage with us is through our fraternity and sorority life communities. Fraternity and sorority life is a pretty prominent piece of our campus life community. They're very engaged, very involved students. We have 16 individual chapters, both of which local, national, and international based organizations. The total amount of students participating is around 255. It fluctuates every semester, but it's about 10% of our campus population. A proud bragging point. A lot of you probably come to school and this is all new information, but you want to focus on your academics, right? Your degree is the first and foremost priority. Well, all of our fraternities and sororities are governed by some guiding principles. And in those groups, scholarship and how their members perform academically is actually one of their top priorities. So we're proud to say in the last several years that the GPA of our fraternity and sorority life members is actually higher than the general admitted student on the Pleasantville campus. I think everyone in here is probably in high school, but in case you have friends that are looking to transfer to PACE, we welcome transfer students, and they're welcome to join our fraternity and sorority life communities their very first semester on campus. We also have student government. A lot of you probably have something similar operating in your high schools, and I know student government probably looks a whole lot different on your campus this past year, right, since last March or April, and the same thing's happening to us. But what's important to know about them, they meet to discuss business to help improve the student experience every other week. They are run fully by students. They have an advisor. I happen to be blessed enough to advise this group. But these are, 6 outstanding students that ran, and their peers voted them into office to lead. They're always looking to improve our campus. They're looking to create unique and creative programming. I was just sharing with my colleagues before we started tonight that to kick off our spring semester, we're gonna bring in a rented ice rink and some food trucks and do like a outdoor little winter festival, excuse me, to kick off the spring semester. So we're really, really excited. But if you have a passion for serving and for advocacy, this might be one of the types of groups that you're very attracted to. Sometimes student government takes a little bit more of a time commitment. Sometimes it's a little bit less, but we can find a role within student government that fits your goals, your desires, your dreams, and also helps you academically. We also have programs for specific student population types. These may not apply to all of you here, but some of you may be plugging in tonight and you live 10 or 15 minutes from our campus, or maybe 45, and maybe you're looking at your cost of education. So sorry about that. This is how you know things are different, right? We're living in real world. But some of you may not plan to live on campus. And so we do some specific outreach for commuter students. We have an advisory council throughout the university that works and works with our commuter students to find how we can continue to improve their experience and make the most of their time while they are on campus with us. We also have a student organization called the Commuter Street Team that does advocacy programs and does some outreach for our commuter students. Transfer program, same thing. I won't spend a lot of time on this because you may not be a transfer student, but we do have a transfer honor society for 2-year and 4-year transfers to our institution, which is really cool, and they're doing some programming now. And this last piece is probably one of my more prouder things to talk about. Again, another group. You may be on this call and you might be the first person in your family to attend a 4-year degree institution that plans to graduate. And so you would be what's called or considered a first generation college student. We've launched a mentoring program here where we connect upper class first generation students that have navigated PACE successfully, and they reach back down and to the underclassmen that are joining us, and they take them under their wing and really help them navigate this whole thing called college, because there's a lot to learn, a lot of terminology, a lot of facts, and it's nice to have a hand on your shoulder that you could turn to. We also have leadership programs. We have a variety of different leadership programs. These first ones are kind of extensive programs. The first program, our leadership program, is a 3-tier program, sometimes takes students anywhere from 3 to 4 semesters, consecutively or inconsecutively to complete. But that program is a real commitment. It's probably 5, 6, 7 hours a week of your time. It's application-based, but you will learn about yourself as a leader, how you show up in your community, within your group. But then you'll also learn before you graduate from this program how to make global impact with your leadership skills. And many of you on this call, I'm sure, are already in leadership roles. So this could be a very attractive program for you because it will show up on your, not academic certificate, but we have a co-curricular certificate here that we offer to students. And that adds a lot of weight in terms of the value of your resume and your experiences. Our Setter's Leadership House is a 1-year program. They live in a living learning community. That means they live kind of together in the same space within a hall. This involves some leadership principle, but it also involves a lot of service. So if you were active in your community now, whether that be high school or local, that could be an incredible group for you to take part in. Little less time commitment, only a 1-year term. And then ODK is an honor society that you can actually earn credentials into from your leadership program. And this honor society here is sponsored by our Setter's Leadership Program. On the next slide, you may not want to fully commit, but maybe you want to do a short-term experience about leadership. These are just some examples. We have many, many more. But we do a traditional leadership excursion. Last year, we took students down to Philadelphia for the weekend, did a guided tour of some historic sites, had some really intentional conversations with students. A, got them off campus for a weekend. They loved it. But B, we spent the time really studying leadership around our country, influential leaders and historic landmarks. But again, just a 3-day commitment, right? We do a fall leadership conference in the fall semester, and we do a women's leadership conference in typically March. And again, a 1-day program where you can come in, plug in, learn more about leadership. And the last piece I'll mention on here before moving forward is our Clifton Strengths program. I'm proud to say for the last 6 years, every new student that's entered our campus, we've given them this free national assessment. It's run by somebody called the Gallup organization. And it's a really cool tool. We use this assessment to determine what are your top strengths? What makes you independently unique and different and valuable? And we integrate that language with you right at orientation in the summer before you start classes. And then it's infused in, career development or in your coursework or in your university 101 class, which is kind of our version of a freshman seminar course that all new students take. And we really believe that if we tell and help students figure out what makes them great at what they do, then they can spend more time focusing on continuing to be great rather than focusing on the weaknesses that maybe have held them back before. Because it takes much more energy to fix something than it does to do something you're already naturally talented at. So that's just some stuff about our leadership programs. I want to encourage you. I know you're, a couple months out from enrolling in a school, but it might be nice for you outside of what you learn and hear from tonight to follow us on our Instagram account. Once you see ours, you'll see other accounts like student groups, athletic programs, the university account, but kind of get a real feel of what life looks like on our campus. You'll find that it's a very robust, very tight-knit community. It's often described by students as family-like or familial, right? And our student center, where a lot of our students hang out and get food to eat and do a lot of their programs, they often describe this space as the living room of campus. So I'm just trying to paint you a picture of what it feels like. I was grateful to be able to spend some time giving you an overview, but I do want to give you the real show tonight. Now, we have two very distinguished guests. I'm going to have them talk one at a time, but as we end that slideshow, I'm going to ask Grania McKinley to please unmute herself and share your experience with us.
Hello, everybody. First and foremost, welcome to our Zoom webinar, and hope you're having a great night. So a little bit about myself. My name is Grania McKinley. I use she, her pronouns. I'm a junior nursing major in the Fort Summers Honors College. And I always like to say, if you don't see me in the library cramming for a nursing exam, you can see me all around campus being super involved. Throughout my time at PACE, I've been a part of many different organizations, such as I'm the president of the National Student Nurses Association. I'm a part of the Setters Leadership Program. I'm a representative of the Student Government Association. I'm the College of Health Professions Ambassador. I've been a part of the Judiciary Board. I'm a part of a co-ed service sorority on campus called Gamma Sigma Sigma. This past summer, I was part of orientation as part of an orientation staff member. I started my own club with a bunch of my friends my freshman year, and many, many more. So pop any questions in the chat. There's probably experience I can touch on and try to help you out with there. And I know while this sounds like a lot, it truly has been a time of my life. I've met most and all my closest friends throughout these experiences, and it's really just made my college experience like the best that I've ever had it to be, especially because of all the valuable lessons that I've gained as a person and as a student, but also as a leader. So specifically, like the first thing that I really got involved with was the Setters Leadership Program. So this really established that foundations and ideals of what it is to really be a leader. And it's led me in the direction to grow more on a campus, like as myself to grow as a leader, but also foster and sponsor different communities on and off the PACE community campus. So how this program really starts is you start as a freshman, you can come in that setting. So all of you guys who are in seniors in high school now, you can apply once you first come and say, yay, I'm going to PACE. But if any of you are transfer students, there are ways that you can transfer in as both a sophomore or a junior. Like I said, I personally met all my closest friends through this program. You do this huge trip where you go upstate and you really just focus on like bonding together. Like we did a community service project up there. We did some like ropes work where we did like zip lines, and it's just really establishing a really fun community, and you all live together, you all do workshops, and like it's a fantastic opportunity that I've got to have. And I've gotten to touch base with other networking opportunities as I'm going into my third tier of the program, and gotten to volunteer at a bunch of different nonprofit organizations. Other things that I've been involved in is the Student Government Association. So specifically, this allowed me the chance to really advocate for myself, but also advocate for like students on campus. I kind of like to tie student government because I was the nursing ambassador, but also I'm the National Student Nurses Association president. So a lot of those things tie hand in hand. And if you guys are interested in nursing or any of that, pop some questions in the chat as well. But in that time, I was able to help establish some like school spirit by like creating new nursing jackets to really promote like getting everyone involved there. But also throughout my time part of SGA, Student Government Association, that Sean mentioned, like I integrated and allowed to speak on my part saying, hey, I want to establish a better like shuttle system. So we allowed more shuttle stops to be placed like in different parts of town, and having different times to go to our city campus and go to our Pleasantville campus. So they really try to integrate and listen to that student voice. And my last thing that I did with student government was I actually did a whole little fund on how we can get more AEDs on campus. So Sean and I are working really closely together, and he's been very helpful throughout the entire process as well. Another cool thing I like to mention is my time as an orientation staff member. This allowed me to connect with a bunch of new people within like the new setters class coming in. And I know while college seems very scary at first, I can relate as a first generation student myself. Shout out to all of you first gen peeps out there. I know Sean mentioned there is a first generation college student mentoring program. I'm a mentor. They pair you up with like someone who's the same major as you. And it's a really great way to really just establish a foundation and root. If you are lost your first couple of like weeks and stuff like that, they're here just to be a fellow support and guide you along your way. So it's never too afraid to ask for help. But going back on that orientation, it's a really great way to like meet fellow students like who are in your shoes. Like you are learning about all different services PACE has to offer, ranging from like counseling services to like having one-on-one financial aid support. Like they give you a rundown of all of that and it just helps you adjust to what it's like to live on campus and how to get involved on campus. So my freshman year, I was able to like during my week of welcome where they introduce you everywhere under orientation to like have a campus-wide dance party. They have like a beach little thing where they got sand for everyone to hang out there. There's a lip sync battle during my orientation. My team came in second place, but we were robbed from first place, but we'll see how it goes for y'all. And there's also like RHA, which is Residence Hall Association, hosts like a really cool movie night. I got some cool swag, RHA. There's like free swag everywhere. It's great. Really show that PACE spirit and pride. But the really cool and crazy thing that I like to mention is through all of these things that I've said, like orientation, fraternity and sorority life as a member of Gamma Sigma Sigma, all of these things are ran by the student development and campus activities on campus. I like to say they're the jack of all trades because they're really juggling all of these things and they really do a really good job of it because they help you establish your own like PACE paw print. I like to say, like, I wouldn't have been able to connect with so many different off-campus like opportunities through like nonprofit organizations that I volunteered at to just even departments on campus. Like they really are a connector in that sense and they really do help and connect with the students in that way. And I've been really grateful to have like met people such as Sean Livingston and Zacomo Barr and Caleb Ettachini, and the list can go on and on and on of all those people in there. And the crazy thing is, while I know their names, they know my name as well. Like PACE really strives to make sure that your name is being remembered and heard. You're not just like a number or like stuff like that. And that's something I like to really attest and like say whenever I'm talking to a bunch of people. Like sometimes I get asked to talk to these things and I'm actually a tour guide on campus. So if any of you have attended a tour, hello, nice to see you all again. Hopefully I'll see you soon if you're not on, if you haven't attended a tour. But I always like to say to those students saying, I like to ask, what are you looking for in a school? And specifically, like I ask myself that when I answer that thing, I want a school that really listens to me and cares and focuses on the students. And it allows like the opportunity for you as a student to really open up your mind and have those opportunities at hand for you. And I like give myself like a time to like picture and see what would I be now and what can I see myself grow in over time. And I could say in my short amount of time here at PACE, it's crazy to say that I'm a junior already. Time really flies when you're having fun. I've been able to establish a bunch of like strong roots, like both academically and like involvement wise, socially, and also like networking off campus. Like I'm going to be a nurse and I'm going to be like connecting with all these like different hospitals and like organizations. And PACE has really helped establish me to get to those places, but also help me grow as a leader. And throughout my time on campus, I've been really grateful to really have that opportunity to mess up and grow from it and learn from it because all of these people along the way are not only friends, but they've been really strong mentors. And like I'm extremely grateful for everything that I have done. So I just like to say that like thank you to all of them if they have the opportunity here on this webinar. But I also like to say in this also setting, like I keep mentioning that like, oh, e-boards, like which is an executive or being a president, being a vice president. That's not just the only way you can have fun on campus. There's so many other ways to really get involved and enjoy these clubs and activities. You don't need to be a part of the e-board. You each one of these clubs and organizations has their own little spark and like uniqueness behind them that makes you as an active member or a non-active member or just someone attending the actual event to have fun. And that's the whole point. They want to make sure that you're having fun on campus and you are being safe. And despite being a pandemic, they're making the most of it now. Like there's still online events. There's people are hanging out in the quad, like socially distant. Like they're really striding to make sure that people are having a time that they really want to have. And I keep going on a like a talk stroke here, but I am really grateful for the opportunities that I have. And I want to say thank you everyone for listening to my TED talk and allowing me to speak here today. And I always like to say if you have any questions about a club or an organization, or if there's something that you want to get started here, throw it in the chat. I know myself, our fellow student speaker after me will be speaking on their own experience, but each and every one of us is totally willing to answer any questions regarding what you want to do or how you want to go about it. And no question is a stupid question. And that's really it. Thank you so very much for having me here. And I hope y'all are staying happy, healthy, and safe. Thank you.
Grania, thank you so much for sharing your experience and being with us this evening. I know amongst your schedule, you always find a way to fit it in. And I think we've promoted that enough. You know, if you have questions, if there's things that we're not even covering that you just have questions about, feel free. We have a lot of resources. And if you don't, totally fine. But I do want to bring up our next guest speaker and, you know, different perspective. I want you guys to see kind of two different sides of the coin, so to speak, because this is not a university that's out of the box. It's a university that allows you to make of your experience at Pace what you want, and then can back it up with the experiences and the resources and the support. So Eli, why don't you take this away and tell them a little bit about your story here, and I'll come back on when you're done. We will put a couple resources in the chat for you all to kind of walk away with. We have an engagement app called Cork, where all of our student organizations kind of live and breathe. We also have a website where you can find out more and kind of peruse some of the different organizational pieces that we have here on campus to get an idea. I think there was a question that just came into the chat that actually said, you know, do we have an ASL club? Yes, we do. In fact, they just finished like their first year, I believe. So pretty incredible what they've been able to do. They have an incredible following, and we're very excited to have them. So keep those questions coming.
Thank you for having me. Hello guys, my name is Eli Simmons Jr. I'm a football player here at Pace. I'm also a senior. I'm a sports marketing major, and I'm a transfer to Pace. I transferred from Lackawanna College. Oh, wait, let me formally introduce myself. I am also the senator of BSU, the Black Student Union here at Pace. I'm a transfer from Lackawanna College out in PA in Pennsylvania. And when I first got to Pace, it was something so different for me. I mean, I did research on Pace. I did so much looking around the school. I actually came here for my official visit for football. And immediately, like, I loved it. I love Pace because it was a community and an environment that really embraced the culture of everyone. It took everyone in and showed like so much love. I connected here with a lot of people. Like when I came here, I was kind of nervous to do different groups, go to different groups and go to different events and stuff like that, because I was like the oddball, kind of like the transfer. I didn't really know anybody. But when I started going to these events, people embraced me like I was their family immediately. They have so many events here. Post-COVID, there was so much stuff here to do on campus. And now, like we host events for BSU and we do a lot of stuff for the students as well. Also, I have my own business here at Pace. And like the feedback from the students, from SGA, BSU, everybody here embraces my business. I have a clothing brand called 7 Clothing, and I'm able to work with different groups for t-shirts that they want to get made for different events. I'm able to talk with the president of Pace and also help out with little designs and stuff that we have for the future. So it's an awesome experience. I mean, Pace has helped me so much grow and become the man that I am, just through communication and networking with different people. It's so awesome as well because they have different programs for you to get jobs in the future. I mean, like I'm having a brain fart, sorry. But the programs that they have here, like the student affairs and things like that you go to, they could create your resumes and set awesome things up for you in the future. And yeah, I mean, when you get here on campus, once you start to talk to people, you find different groups like Grania was explaining, like BSU, they have sororities and fraternities on campus that are also very awesome and contribute a lot to the campus. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I don't really have a lot to say. As an athlete coming here, I mean, it was hard for me, like I said in the beginning, to really connect with a lot of people. But as I start to talk, and me being in my senior year, I find myself in a bunch of situations that are great for my future. So I think the best thing that you guys could do is really talk and communicate with the people around you. Sean has been so helpful too with me and my business and helping spread the word and getting t-shirts out and doing different things like that. So definitely when you get here, do not be shy. I was a very shy person. Open up, talk to people, meet new people, because there are a lot of things that you will find yourself in that are great for your future. And just to have fun too. There was a lot of exciting events, parties that I was like, wow, like I really got the college experience and I really had a lot of fun. So going into my senior year, I could say, man, I enjoyed myself at Pace University because there was a lot of stuff to do. I know you guys are interested in like, oh, will there be like parties and events and stuff like that? Yeah, there are a lot of stuff to do. So you won't have to feel like you're not at home. This feeling here is a very at home feeling and very welcoming and loving too. So.
All right. Well, you did an awesome job, and you do have a lot to say because everything you just said was very important and incredibly valuable. But I'm not going to let you off that easy. I asked you intentionally on here because I think when high school students look at going to college, they think about all the things that we're telling them about. You know, engaging in experiences, pursuing career services, taking trips, hanging out with friends, creating community. It seems like a lot. And on top of that, you're a Division II college athlete. So just for another minute or two, can you share with them, you know, what do you do to prioritize that? Because clearly on top of going to school, competing, being on an executive board position with one of the most active organizations we have on campus, you also run your own company outside of that. How does someone, you know, just to set their mind at ease, like how do you do that? You know, what's your strategy? I think that would be helpful for them to hear.
I think my strategy is getting very familiar with my advisor. My advisor is so helpful to me here at Pace because she understands my schedule, like my football schedule and my school schedule, and she helps me like have those two in line at all times. So all the classes that I need to take, my next year's credits, the classes I need to take for next semester, all those things are kind of organized. So I'm always in that right state of mind as well. But as far as my business and being a BSU senator, I feel like I level those out well because one, the people that I have around me, the BSU team, the organization itself, all the people in the group are so helpful with dates, things that's coming up like that. So I feel like I don't have a real burden on my back when it comes to like doing a lot for the organization because I have people around me that help as well. And then it comes to my business. When I have my business here on campus, I feel like I could schedule everything that I have here at school doesn't really affect my business because I leave my business kind of third. I want to get my degree in football first, and then I leave that third and make sure I have everything intact, just ready for my future. As well, I'm a sports marketing major, and I feel like that helps me as well with my business, so I could kind of incorporate the two, just learning new things to help for my business, so that advance my business in the future. With marketing strategies and things like that, they kind of go hand in hand. So it's like I have a circle right now of things that kind of click with each other. You know, as you get from a freshman to your senior year, you're trying to find yourself. At first, I was a filmmaking major, and I was like, you know what? I feel like this wouldn't really help my career and what I want to do and open my own business and clothing company and stuff like that. So when I switched to sports marketing, I saw a whole new world in front of me. I'm like, whoa, this is what I want to do. This is marketing, advertising, and I could definitely add this onto my business. So again, I feel like just talking to people and finding yourself and finding the right things for you first, I think that's the way that you could kind of level yourself out and have an awesome experience in college at Pace.
Thank you for spending a few minutes on that. That was well said. And Grania, if you want to just turn your video back on, I think we have some questions in here that, you know, different folks have asked, and I'd love to hear, you know, not a repeat for folks that are on here, but maybe a ping pong of different perspectives. I want to first say that, you know, both of these students are examples of people who are at the premier level of engaging with their community. They weren't always that way. And I think when you're 16, 17, 18, 19 years old and you're looking at school, you're like, wow, like they do a lot. How do they balance all that? It was incremental, right? You know, they started with one thing, mix that in with coursework, maybe a campus job, or in Eli's case, you know, playing sports. And, you know, they were like, wow, still got all this time. Like, what else could I do with it? You know, productive people that really know why they're doing something, they always find time. Successful people don't have time, they make time. And so I brought these two on here because they have very different stories. But both of them have been very productive with their time while at Pace. Some of them we will probably not see after this year every single day, which is sad. And for the other one, we still get another full year of awesomeness. But we want to just continue to ask or answer some questions that are in here. I know we addressed a couple of the questions by responding in chat, but I have a curiosity, or I don't have a curiosity. I have a question for the both of you. I'd love for you to answer, which is, how did you kind of find your first start? Like, I think that's a big question, right? Like, there's resources, there are websites, there's social media, and everyone's claiming, you know, you can find information all the time, but you got to remember these young men and women, they're coming to campus and like, it's information overload, right? So I want to keep this simple. What is one tip or strategy each of you would recommend to these soon to be graduating high schoolers and soon to be freshmen in college? What is one or two things that you think has helped you both to make that initial connection? Grania, why don't you go first?
Perfect. Thank you, Sean. I know when I first came to Pace, like prior to even stepping foot on campus, I was part of the Setters Leadership Program. They like reach out to you over the summer if you're interested in getting involved there, and a way that they integrate like how you live on campus. If any of you guys are going to live on campus, there's a thing called first year interest groups, and they help foster a community in that sense. And that really helped establish me to start the leadership program and help establish me to go to Residence Hall Association. And ultimately things just gradually picked up that way through starting that one event, like what Sean was saying. But it doesn't have to just be that one thing. You don't have to be a commuter to be like do commuter event, or you don't have to just do RHA, which is Residence Hall Association. They have this thing called an involvement fair, where they like kind of give you a full aspect of all the different clubs that are on campus. And you could start with just one, and you attend that meeting and you learn from that meeting, and then you apply to be on the e-board, and just like that, you'll slowly get into that groove and you'll adjust along the way. So I'll pass it on over to Eli.
Awesome. I would say the involvement fair is like, it is wonderful. Like, that's where I met all the people on my e-board. They kind of like, when I went there, I went to check out all the organizations on campus just to see what they were about. And coming in as a minority, as an African-American, I felt like it was my job to stand up and be that face for my people on campus and just show them, like, coming into college sometimes as a minority, it might feel a little weird because we are the minority in some schools and environments. So just having a person that you can see as yourself, you know what I mean, and be able to connect on campus is like, it's awesome. I had people like that for me when I first came here, and they welcomed me with complete love. And I was like, man, I really want to do this for freshmen coming up. I really want to show them like how awesome college is when you have a family and there's love. I mean, there's already a bunch of love on campus, but you know, when you could go out to events and be like, this is my group of people that like I'm hanging with and I know, you know what I mean? And then you go to the events, everybody's welcome. It's all love, and it's so fun just learning about new things on campus and being with those group of people. But I would definitely say that fair is like the best.
It's kind of like a buffet. That's what I tell students all the time. Like, you're going to have everything there. If you don't feel like eating chicken tonight, you just skip that part of the buffet and you go find something that you like. And I appreciate you both promoting that. There's another great question that came in here that I'd love to hear from both your perspectives. What is one or maybe two kind of traditional or annual campus events that you both have, you know, a soft spot for? Like, it's just, for whatever silly reason, you guys just both love them. And try not to think about just what we've been going through for the last 7 months. You know, you guys have both been here for a couple of years. So what are those one or two traditions for each of you that you love? Eli, why don't you start?
Okay, awesome. So when I first got here, I learned about the soca events. So we have like fun soca parties that we throw here. Usually it's like as soon as we get here around homecoming, around that time, like September, October. And those were an absolute blast. I mean, all your friends are there. There's great music, just like a fun party. And also another thing that I thought was very awesome, when I got here, I think we were going to do a concert last year, but I'm not sure. But when I got here, A Boogie actually had a concert in our auditorium, and that was like the funnest thing ever. I was right front row. I wasn't even a student here yet, but I was like, wow, like this experience is like crazy. Like we actually got to meet him and stuff. So it was really dope coming here and seeing like those kind of events and like artists actually coming here and acknowledging our school and we having the parties like that. It's cool.
So I'm someone who really loves like traditional events. Like I really love to get like my pace setter spirit and pride up, so much so that I dressed up as T-Bone even a few times coming from some games and stuff like that. So I'm really big fan of homecoming. When everyone gets all like decked up, like to go see the football team, like everyone fills up the crowd and the seats, and afterwards it's a huge bonfire and there's like food trucks and everyone's just super involved and like just kind of getting that vibe and that like beginning of the semester like feeling and fall has just always been something that I really loved, and it just starts the semester off right. But I would say another one of my favorite traditional events has to be Fabulosity, that's ran by Pride at Pace. And Pride at Pace is our LGBTQA community and like those who are part of the ally community that go attend this. And it's basically this huge event where it's ran by a drag queen. Like they like rock the show, they do their own different shows, and actually students run their own little like it's a whole competition. They also dress in drag, and it gets everyone hyped. Everyone's like in this room, everyone's cheering them on. They're playing some really good music. There's like really cool snacks. It's just an overall like fun event, and everyone's just so invested and involved in it. And there's a huge competition, and whoever wins gets like a bunch of different Amazon gift cards. Like it's just something that like I even know like my friends are super excited and already planning it out now when it happens on campus. So love those events. I can talk more about so many others as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that I love about my career is that every day is different. Every week is different. I mean, part of that is because so much of our campus programming is student run. So students are the most innovative, creative people we have on campus, which is pretty cool. I can tell you personally that, you know, I've gotten to travel places that I probably wouldn't have gotten to travel by taking students either to a Broadway show or a professional sporting game or maybe a weekend ski trip. What else have we done? I mean, for me, I'm particular to the family weekend piece because I get to bring my wife and my daughter to work and ingrain them into the environment of what our campus is like on a day-to-day basis. And I just love seeing our families. They love bingo. I don't know what that's all about, but family members love bingo and winning big prizes. And it's just great to be in and around their presence and hanging out with them. But I think that's one of the things that we really support here at Pace. We support students actualizing on their ideas. In fact, for a long period of time, our tagline in our office was making ideas happen, not making Sean's ideas happen. It was really partnering with our students like Eli and Grania to say, you know, what's your vision and how can we help you do it? Because that teaches them so much about what they're going to need for the down the road days, right? When they depart us. So, all right, let's do maybe one more because I know we're approaching time here, and I've loved everything you guys have shared. And I really, really do appreciate both of you taking time out of your schedules to do this. But how about one final tip or piece of advice about successfully navigating Pace as a university, finding a group of people that you can really connect and find support in? What would be that one major final tip or piece of advice? Grania, I'm going to put you on first.
Okie dokie. So I've seen a bunch of different questions in chat. I'm trying to answer them as well. I would say it's all about time management. I know this is a bunch of people saying, how do you balance? How do you prioritize things? It's all about balancing things and making sure that you are feeling comfortable with what you are setting in it. You're setting your academics, you get those planners, you get those color code schedules, like you make something that feels comfortable for you. Sean, can you just reiterate the question one more time?
You were doing a great job. I didn't think you needed me to, but just if you were to leave them with like one final tip or piece of advice on how to connect and find that group, how you navigated finding that group of support system, because it's the reason why both of you have had the success, right? You had that initial group to support yourself, and then you flourished from there. So what would be your advice?
I think it also, like I was saying, like when you go out, it's all about getting yourself out there and trying new things. Everyone's in that same boat as you. Like everyone's coming into college saying like, I have no idea who I am or where I'm going to be. And like you can find friends over the littlest things. Like I found my best friend over ordering chicken tenders, like on the Kessel food line. So like just the little things that you can connect over, like saying, hey, I really like hanging out with, like talking about this, or there's ways of getting involved. Like if you're within sports, that's a way you're building community with that athletic group. If you're part of the residence hall, a bunch of the programs that are in there are centered around community based. Like there's first year interest groups where we call them FIGs, and they allow students to be like sectioned off about like what their common interests are. So like there's a leadership FIG, there's like a nursing FIG, there's a pop culture media FIG, you name it, there's probably a FIG that will fall under your realm. And it really just helps establish like where you can connect with one another. And from there, like it's just, you gradually get to see all these people around campus. People are constantly saying hello. And just like that, like you'll fall into a groove, and people are always there to help support you along the way. Like even if like you're having a bad day, like friends, staff members, RAs, like people just keep like constantly text or knock on your door to make sure you're staying okay. And it's, I feel like there's never a dull moment for you not to do something on campus, and people will be willing to pull you out to get yourself out there. So that's just a little snapshot on a bunch of different things. So Eli, take it away.
I mean, I don't really have a lot to say, but I would say just stepping outside of your comfort zone. You know, stepping out and going and do different things. I think that one thing right there is like will summarize my college experience, and I think it will summarize yours. Just don't be shy. Go to events, meet new people, talk, express yourself, express how you feel, because that's the only way that, I mean, you will get into these, not get into these groups because you can get in any group, but just showing who you are as a person. You know what I mean? Don't come here intimidated by college. I know it might seem like that at first, but once you get here, really express yourself, show what you love, and then you'll find yourself in the future. It'll all come to you, and you'll be like, you don't want to be shy, and then it's your senior year, and you're like, wow, I don't want to be shy anymore. I want to go out and do stuff, because sometimes it's a little bit too late. So when you come in, just be open, kind, and just open up and go meet new people. And I think everything will be all right for you guys.
He prefaced the whole answer with, I don't have a lot to say, but I would say that anyone who understands leadership principles, and that's like my background, that as soon as you challenge yourself to leave your comfort zone, that's where your growth and your personal development really starts. And that's what both of these fine examples are talking to you guys about. So incredible panel. I want to thank all of you that were plugged in here with us tonight for the questions and for keeping us on our toes with some really good ones. And we hope that their stories, the students' stories, their experiences, what we've shared, some high-level information, any of the links or resources that have been put into the chat, that these are all things that you can continue to now take with you as you move forward into your collegiate decisions. And we're really excited to have you here with us in the fall semester. This is a great place to be. But with that, we are going to conclude the webinar. We just want to say thank you to all of you. I want to say thank you to Brittany, who's been behind the scenes the whole night, making this work flawlessly. And to Eli, yeah, who's a proud Pace alum, by the way, who now works here. So look at that, keeping it in the family. But then also to Grania and Eli again, I know that these future students of Pace really appreciate you both sharing and from your heart. So with that, I hope everyone has a great night, and we will catch you on the next one.